Hi, and welcome back to my channel, Simply Latrice. And today I am doing a reflective video. So I know the move is behind me, but the lessons or the decisions I made during that time are still guiding how I am handling money and the pressures that I'm going through right now. And so if you're new to my channel, I retired or I left my full-time job at the age of 55, and I just wanted to be more present for my son who's finishing out his last few years of high school. I wanted to expand some side hustles that I have and try and grow them, and that's vending. And I currently have one rental and one on the market. So looking for renters so that I can have my second rental. And I just wanted to once again be present for my son, for family, and just work on my own terms while building, a financial or building financial freedom so that a little longer down the road I can work if I choose to. And so this video is about the move that I made when I downsized from my home to my current living situation, which is my apartments. In my move, I really needed to be strategic about, the money that I spent as far as movers and all those things. And so I wanted to kind of share what it really cost me to move. So not just the money end of it, but the decision route. I didn't use movers because I was looking for leasers or renters. And so I didn't feel the need to incur that expense right off the bat, because like here I am now, 4 or 5 months down the road and still no renters. I did move, all of the things that I felt were a necessity to make this place feel more like home. And I did that in my car, my SUV. I have not rented a U-Haul. Once again, I wanted to save on that expense. And so the only reason I would use movers at this point is because I do have my vending machine that's sitting in my garage, and that's something that I can't move, not even with the help of my son. And so I wanted to, once again, make sure that when I did incur that expense, that the machine wasn't gonna have to be moved again. And so that's why it's still in my garage at my house. I didn't rent a U-Haul because, once again, I didn't feel the need to rush, and I wanted to kind of stage the home because I wanted to give an option to try to make it more attractive on the market, that it could either be a furnished apartment or a furnished home, or it could be empty. So I did leave furniture staged throughout the house. And so when it came to moving things, once again, it was just the necessities of what we needed. My home was like 1,600 square foot. It wasn't a big home, but it was enough space for me and my child. And I moved down to like a 900 square foot. So I couldn't fit everything in this apartment. So I would have had to have been looking at maybe storage units. In the apartments, they do have garages that you could rent. And so I wanted to not incur that expense right off the bat until I really just knew what was going to go on with the house. And so everything I did, I tried to be intentional behind it, because at the end of it all, it was going to be more money. I already had to shell out a good amount of money to secure the deposit, or actually to apply for the apartment, then to secure, the apartment with the deposit and first month's rent. And so I just wanted to be more intentional about how I was spending my money right off the bat. And so at this stage, once again, it wasn't about convenience. It was about being in control. I knew every dollar I saved could go toward stability, as far as in my vending and taking care of my son. Now, how I actually cut moving costs, I used boxes that I already had, and I used boxes that were left from emptying freight at work. I didn't buy tape, and so I found a video online, and I followed it on how folding and locking the corners of the boxes was very, it did the trick. I did not, because I was moving everything and I was moving it in my U-Haul. I did not wrap every single plate, or wrap every picture, every mirror. I was doing those things, so I wrapped some things in sheets. I just took a stack of plates and wrapped them, and placed them in the box with all of that, extra fabric from the sheets. And I just tried to be very creative in how I packed, because once again, it was just me moving the things, and so I was going to be careful. I was going to be careful with my items, so that they did not break. And so I packed things because I knew I was going to be the person that was handling them. So it didn't require me to, wrap each thing individually. And then when I moved items on days when I was already working. And so where I work, it's only 5 minutes from my home. So the drive from my job to here is 30 minutes at most. And so, when I would move, I would do it once again on days I had to work because of gas and mileage and stuff like that. So I tried to make it more of a convenience. It wasn't, well, maybe not convenient, because after working a long 8-hour shift, the last thing I wanted to do was go, over to my house and move things. But it was to be very strategic and intentional in the way that I moved, and so that worked. So I didn't have any extra gas expenses. I didn't put a lot of extra miles on my car. I normally would, so in a week that I worked 5 days, I went maybe 3 days and I moved things. And I just did that until I moved everything that I wanted to move out of the home into the apartment. And it really took me 2 weeks. So 7 days, because I did have a day in there where I went on a day off and I made 2 trips. And so that did it for me. I didn't pay, for trash hauls. I called, my trash service, and I found out, or I inquired about when did they pick up bulk trash, and what was the guidelines. And so I just made sure to have, an old mattress out at that time, toys that my son is going to be 16 had when he was 3 that I just didn't want to part with, or it was like, oh, I'm gonna give it to this person, or I'm gonna have a garage sale, and those things never panned out. And so those are the things that I just set out, following all the regulations to make sure that it was picked up, and it was picked up. And so, that worked for me. At the point of where I am now with the things that are left, once I get renters and they do not want, furniture, or not all of the furniture, then I will, get a service and move everything at that time. And so that will be a one-time cost, and it will be more planned out, and I have prepared for that expense more so than I had when I initially made the move here. So being efficient didn't just save money, it reduced stress. Like, I moved in stages. Once again, only what I needed, and I avoided paying twice for things. So, this move wasn't about doing anything the hard way. It was just about trying to be smart, both financially and just with my time. And that, really kind of goes to how I treat a lot of what I do, because I'm doing a lot of things. I really try to make it part of my routine. Like, I'm not going out of my way to do anything, if that makes sense. On a day that I work, I go back to the house, I spend a little extra time there, just cleaning, because things incur dust, and just trying to keep the house tidy for showings. I did not buy a washer and dryer, and so my house is not being leased, and so I have days where I go, like, to do laundry. So when I'm there, I'm doing laundry. Once again, I'm cleaning up the house, making sure things are tidy and dust free, and just continuing to try and make it inviting so that I can get renters. When I vend, I do it on a day I get off early from Lowe's. I leave there and I do my vending. I may do all my machines on one day, or I may split it up, It just depends on how that week is going in sales, and how empty the machines are, and on which side of town I have to go. And I plan it that way. And when I do my Shift Smart, I usually, I do my Shift Smarts mostly Circle K's. I do have an H-E-B and a Walmart that I will go to, but mostly Circle K's, and they're all on my route. So if I pick up a shift after work, it's on my way home. So I stop, I do my 2-hour shift, 4-hour shift, and I go home. So I'm not using additional gas because I'm already there. It's already on my route. When I'm off, I have a couple of Circle K's that are like 5 and 7 minutes from my house. And so I just make that part of my, routine if I'm running errands. If I know I need to grocery shop, then I'll go to the Circle K that's right next to the H-E-B that I grocery shop at. Or if I know I have a prescription I need to pick up, then I'll go to the Circle K that's right next to the Walmart of, where my prescriptions are at. So I try to make things within my routine so that it doesn't really feel like anything is taking me out of my way. And that works for me. That creates less of a stress, because even though, it's still going in to do work, it's not like, oh my God, I have to beat traffic and be on this side of town, or, over here, because once again, everything is already within the distance of what I'm already doing. So sometimes, efficiency is the difference between staying afloat and falling behind. And so if you're planning a move and money is tight, use what you already have. Time your moves with your routine. Don't rush. Like, rush decisions cost more money and more time. And the last thing I would say is efficiency beats convenience every time. I could have paid the money up front, moved everything out of my house, put stuff here, put stuff in storage. But 5 months later, I still have no renters. That is money that I would have been paying for, a storage. This move reminded me that being resourceful is a skill. Like, in seasons like this, skills matter more than money. I would say that my channel has evolved and it has become less about, events and more about decision making, under pressure. And so this move for me was an example of that. So I ask you to leave me a comment of a decision that you had to make under pressure. And as always, I like to say thank you for watching my videos, and I will see you in the next one.